I'm speaking to the committee of this Save Llanerch recreational field. Just to start with, have you been to the library for the consultation at all?
I visited just to pick some forms up, yes.
Have you
Yes.
been? Yeah. Were you surprised at what was there, or were you happy with what was there?
I didn't really have any opinion at all as to what was there. We've seen the consultation stuff online anyway, so we were fully aware of what was going to be there. It was just sort of tucked away in a corner, wasn't it, on a table?
We were surprised that there were no county council members there or nobody from Asprey Planning.
Come into the mic when you talk. That's it. So you don't talk to me like just talk into the mic there.
Okay.
And the same for you, come in a bit.
But we've had an email confirming that Asprey Planning will not be attending the consultation at all.
I was a little surprised, to be honest. I know what you're saying, it's online, but ultimately this is a consultation, and one would have expected some boards, some drawings, full scale.
Yeah, you are right. Not a table with a few things on there.
A table with a few things on.
And no explanation at all.
Nothing. And nobody there to question.
No.
And very little signage, actually, from outside. We went round twice trying to find the place.
Yes, I did too. I asked at the main desk and I was told it was upstairs, but I still had a job finding it.
Well, then you're in the reference library and you have to be quiet.
Yes.
You can't even discuss what you're seeing in front of you.
No.
Do you think that's adequate for a consultation?
No, I certainly don't.
It's pre-consultation.
Pre-planning consultation.
Pre-planning consultation. They said that there will be boards when they put in planning.
Okay.
It still isn't really adequate, though, is it?
Okay. You've been, if you like, for want of a better word, you've been protesting here over the building on that particular site. Let's get it clear. You're not against a new school.
No.
You're not against Welsh medium education.
No.
Nope. I was
This
educated
should
by
not
Welsh medium.
spiral into a Llangennech scenario.
No.
Where people are put against each other within the community.
That's right.
Being opposed to Welsh language or anything else. Parents against parents, residents against parents, residents against head teachers and teachers. This is really what you're looking for is a fair, reasonable, open and transparent process.
Yes.
Involving the community.
At large, not the way it's been done at the moment.
Protecting open green spaces. That's our main focus.
And we have to also consider here that the catchment area is quite a wide area because these children are coming in specifically because it is a Welsh medium school.
Yes, that's right. Bypassing a lot of Welsh medium schools on their way here.
Exactly. And so the catchment area really would go up as far as somewhere like the old site at Ynys.
Yes, but it goes further than that, actually.
A redundant site. We're looking at the site going down as far as Copperworks Road. Again, a big site,
yes.
Which has been suggested by the town mayor, the previous town mayor.
Yes, that's right.
And Plaid Cymru councillors
Yes.
within Llanelli, that would be the ideal site given the traffic problems, which is one of the main things.
Yes, that's true. Very true.
Right. Just quickly, just guide me through what is the basis for your objection to that school being built there? Is it purely the tank that's below and the size of the scale of the building and the plot of land it's meant to fit on and the river? Are those the main things?
Those are the main things, but we refute the fact that Llanerch is a community first area. We have lots of deprived children living there. That is the free open play area for them. It's protected. There's fencing around it. It's safe. We've lots of people travel from miles around to use the field, and we object to them taking away a piece of green space
so first
that
and
is
foremost,
far too small anyway.
Yeah. So first and foremost, it is the reduction of a green field,
Yes.
and a green. And that you've put in process an application for a village green. That's your attempt. In effect, at retaining that green space.
That's
so
right.
that is essentially what you're doing. The main thing you're doing here is you're trying to save a village green space.
A community space.
Yeah. And you've come up against some legal difficulties and timescales and all these kind of things, and you're now in a position where it's running side by side with a planning application. Is this a sort of like a two-horse race? He gets to the post first wins or something, or how's it going to work?
No, we've had confirmation from Andrew Patterson, the village green officer, and he has said that they are running separately. on the basis of individual merits. Planning can be approved, but nothing can be built on until the village green application has been resolved. There is no timescale. As long as the village green qualifies, because there's a lot of criteria that it has to, it will be granted or it won't. If they do grant planning and the council decides that they can build, if the village green is successful, then they'll have to reinstate it to its original green space.
So if they intend to go at risk here with all our money and build on there anyway, just to be bloody minded, which could well happen, this would be the consequence. Should we win the village green, it would have to be reinstated at the X amount of money again to the taxpayer. There's already a lot of money being squandered on the investigative works alone on Llanerch.
Yeah, and you'll remember the film that was made where the chap was asked, should the site be inappropriate, would you just leave, and that was it. And he said quite clearly, didn't he, no, we'll go over there.
Yes.
Looking at that as a scenario now, some people are saying, well, the sensible thing might be actually to knock down the changing rooms, extend that school, and you've got the field without having to cross a road, and the river is far enough away.
Yes.
Is that an option they should have considered first?
We really don't agree with them building on any green spaces. I mean, there are plenty of other places. There's Hale Goffa, for instance. The copper works, as you've already said. People have come up with numerous scenarios. There are plenty of other areas that could be looked at, rather than taking any of the green spaces away, really.
There were, we were told, a number of sites identified. Have you been told what those sites are now?
Yes, we've got all the information for that. Two of them were quarries, actually.
Yeah.
But none of them were.
And the feasibility studies, all of these things were flawed as far as you're concerned.
Totally flawed.
Yeah.
But they were taking away green spaces again. Penavan.
How much do the community, how much are they aware of what's gone on?
Not a lot, really. The old people are only ever have, picked up the Llanelli Star, and there's been very little press coverage. Certainly not in our favour regarding that. So people will be very shocked when this takes off. There's a very elderly community in Llanerch, and when you knock the doors and speak to people, they are totally unaware of this.
Well, it's a point actually with local media. Do you feel that the local media have been robust enough and aggressive enough, if you like, or professional enough to look at and investigate and research and put your argument across?
No,
not at all.
There's been no coverage from our perspective on this.
And no interest, more to the point, even though we have approached them. We're unavailable, sorry. Okay.
Do you think then that, let's say the school does go ahead, so you let's say you lose your village green application and the status for that, and then you're then faced with the application for the school going ahead. Do you then fight it on different grounds? Some of them are overlapping, obviously, but do you then take another fight to them on the scale of the school, the river, the knotweed, all of these kind of things?
Yes, we're fully committed to seeing this through.
Yes.
You're going to do that as well?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had anyone from that other side approaching you, or are you aware of a large amount of support for the school?
No, I haven't encountered anybody that lives in the Llanelli area that does support it.
And as I say, the parents from the school really don't come from the area. No, some of them don't even know what Llanerch field is.
We don't know anybody because there are only 70 children from the Llanelli area that go to Dewi Sant.
Do you think enough people have been made aware of the scale of the tank below what they propose to build on?
The council have said there is an easement, but that's okay. They haven't said that there's any other issues regarding, and everything is being dealt with. So that's what the word on the street about the tanks are. Oh, nothing to worry about. It's just...
And actually, it was stated on the other night, I don't know, I think there was news out now was it? We're out there interviewing. I think they spoke to actually Councillor Rob James at the time. We were interviewed by them some time ago regarding the tanks when they were actually filmed leaking. The inspection hatches were leaking. And we spoke to the same reporter from the BBC who was there speaking to Rob James, and he categorically knows we have these meant to say it's on it quite clear it's a sewage tank, and he yet again stated that it was a water tank on the news. It was very much a promotional exercise, I think.
So we know that what's below there basically is a form of sort of almost like a giant mulching thing that takes the sewage in and pushes out the liquid.
That's right. It holds the solids back and lets the liquids release until a safe time when the river is abated somewhat, and then lets it loose. Yeah.
And should anything go wrong with that, given that there's a school going to be built over the top of it, then
it's a horrendous prospect.
Then what would they have to do? I mean, the former mayor, councillor, we have to call him Councillor Bill Thomas in this instance when he speaks, but he had grave concerns about the health and safety should anything leak from there. Should the school? Well, he's basically said the school has to be shut down every single time.
Yes, that's right.
And everything has to be disinfected and mopped up and so on. Yeah. And you've witnessed water already coming out from the inspection. Yes. Was that water tested by anyone?
No.
Did you have any? They never tested that?
No.
Right, okay. The other concern, obviously, a lot of people, and we hear about it, there's an increase in the numbers of children drowning, specifically in riversides and canals and pools and so on. The river is extremely close by to... You can fence it off, of course. And I believe, I can't be sure, maybe you can fill me in on this, that the field itself has come under the category of being on a floodplain.
Yes, I think they rose the levels somewhat a couple of years ago when they had to reinstate the pitch after the installation works for the tanks. And I think it's risen to, it's not a CAT 15 or a TAN 15, it's now just below that. But the river is rising every year. As you can see, we have video footage on our Facebook page showing the river right at the top level there. Apparently, the trees are going to be disappearing as well. The large trees on the area which hold the bank in place are being taken away as part of this exercise. So we spoke with an geographist, and she was very concerned about that, and the erosion on the walls near the bridge, etc.
And you have obviously you would say there's a traffic problem there, and it's a problem trying to get in and out of that area early in the morning and at school leaving time. There is no option to go out and down to town the other way. It's a dead end. And then you've got, trying to go up through Thomas Street and all those kind of places. Again, it's a bottleneck. Do you think that citing that school, Copperworks, some people have suggested the Old Castle Works, the old site there. Some have suggested up at Llanelli, the Ynys site, a couple of places. Do you think that is a more sensible option for the traffic?
Far more sensible option. Traffic and emissions, because there'll be more traffic on a standstill there now. They're putting a new Pelican crossing in at the bottom, adjacent to where the new car park's going to be across that very busy main road. And there'll be cars on, it'll be gridlock there in the mornings. That's not good for the children or the people living in the area.
They've also said they're considering allowing the children to use the Pennegar playing fields as a recreational area, but that too has to go through and be approved, I guess, by the Commercial League.
That's right. There's a management committee.
Yeah, because they're quite sensitive about the fields. They when people are playing on it, they don't want them playing on it. They're hoofed off usually.
Well, they really shouldn't have considered Llanerch. If you read the documentation that took us to this stage, Llanerch was too small a site to be considered on its own as a standalone. It is, after all, only a football pitch with a slight skirt of grass on it. Yeah. It was far too small to be considered on its own merit. They could only consider it when they had the option to use Pennegar as overspill for playing fields. So really, if Pennegar is off the equation, they really shouldn't have been looking at putting Dewi Sand on that field. It's far too small a site. The children won't have the amenities they should have in these 21st century schools. We've supplied all this information to the school, to the governors, but nobody seems to be interested. I think they think this is the only way forward.
And you've got an issue with the drawings and the scale. You say that the drawing is not a scale. You've got an architect that supports you in that.
We're busy working on that as we speak.
I mean, you know, a lot of people, as you say, if the parents are coming in from the outside, even so, a lot of people are saying, well, you know, and the council will say it's our policy. We have an LDP, we have a policy for Welsh language medium, we have a policy for new schools, we have all sorts of things. Do you think that, in effect, what's happening here really is it's fated to be anyway, and you're going through what I would say is the theatre really? Are you aware of how the planning process works within Carmarthenshire County Council?
Yes, we are fully aware of how the planning
Have you got
council
confidence and faith in that?
No. I have to be honest, no, we don't. But we will still pursue this to the bitter end. We're fighting for a community here and the loss of the heritage of the community. That field was left the same time as Park Howard to the children of Llanelli, who use it on a regular basis, as do the community. It really isn't fair to have that taken away for a school that could be placed anywhere, a school which won't have the facilities that are being promised. It
could be on a brownfield site. It could easily be on a brownfield site.
The catchment area is so vast, it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Do you think ultimately then that you're going to be listened to, or do you think this is going to be ploughed through, and that you may get sort of courteous responses and nods?
I hope not.
Yes, we certainly hope not, because, as I say, we will pursue this to the bitter end.
Carmarthenshire County Council's core policy are respecting the public and being respectful for the environment, which they are being neither.
We would also note the fact that the Plaid policy that was fought during the last election, in their manifesto, they were for protecting green spaces. And just across the bridge in Llanerch, they are the ones fighting to keep the school off the site there.
So you think there's quite a lot of, politically, a lot of hypocrisy?
Yes.
And contradictions?
Yes. We actually wrote an open letter to Leanne Wood asking the question as to how the policy could differ so much across one small bridge from one end of the county to the other, but we were never furnished with a response or even an acknowledgement.
So as it stands, you're waiting now for the process of the application for the village green to run its course.
To go to an inquiry, it'll go to a public inquiry.
And is there a cost involved?
Yes.
Are you having to find money for this?
Yes, we're doing an awful lot of fundraising and we have more stuff planned as well.
But the community who want to save it are very generous and
very supportive.
They are very supportive.
And if that runs its course and they say, there we go, you know, you won't get village green status, the fight begins again then for you.
It does.
Okay, well, thanks for coming in and speaking to us, and good luck with your campaign, and we'll all wait sort of just to see what the outcome is on that first process.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.